And so that means the probability that you're between, if you go back to the chart, 260 and 280. So 260 percentage. So if you know that you're less and that you're less, if you subtract those two, you can get between 260. So if we subtract 2.51 and 57.53, we get a 34.98 percentage. So as the probability that we're between. And so to write the probability between, we can say the probability that really that 260 is less than x is less than 280, which like is the same thing as that the probability of z's between 0.19 and 1.44 is 34.98%. 34.98. It's not the nicest, but so that gives you an idea of like how to do between and greater than and less than. But then the last questions are actually working backwards. So what's the hurricane speed that is higher than 90%? So what we call that is the 90th percentile. And so what we do there is we first have to look up the z value for the 90th percentile. And so the 90th percentile is found by looking at the chart. And so we can look up the chart and look for the closest number in here to 90%. And so the closest number I see is 0.8997. And so that would be 1.28. So a z value of 1.28. So if z equaled 1.28, we kind of have to work backwards to find out, okay, well, what's x now? And so we have 1.28 as our z value. We don't know x, but we know we have to subtract 257 and divide by the 16. And so if you cross multiply the 16 and the 1.28, we get 16 times 1.28, which gives you 20.48. That's how much bigger than 257 you are. Like if you multiply by the standard deviations, you're 20.4 over the 257. So if you add 257, then you get 277.48. So that's actually the speed that you are, 277.48. Okay. The last example is very similar to it. You just have to be careful with the wording of questions like this. It's the speed that's slower than 75%. So it's actually at the 25th percentile. And so that's the biggest thing that you just have to watch out for. This actually means the 25th, not the 75th. If you did it for the 75th, you'll find you find an x value that's really fast, but you want it to be slower. And so I'm not going to work through that last example. It's the same as number 4. You just have to look up the 25th percentile. And so like just to show you where it is, it's on the other chart, or it's on the other side of the chart. And I don't have the same chart, but you don't need the same chart. Like you can use whatever chart works. The 25th percentile, you can actually see is found like right around, potentially right around here. And if you're in a situation where you don't know like which one's closer, you can always use the half. And so I did that in this example back here. Like if you wanted to look up, if you don't know, I skipped it. If you wanted to see like around half, and so the 82nd percentile, remember, was like right in the middle of 2. So we use 0.915 because it's right in the middle. So you could do that too. Yeah, and that's the end of our lesson. That's our last lesson on the normal distribution.